Hey, what's going on in Sports Truth? I'm your host, your favorite host in the entire world, Jordan Harris. So we got to talk, family. We got to have a nice little discussion here. I know I'm going to sound like an old man, get off my line kind of guy, but something happened in the sports world recently that made me want to define what is the worst sports tradition ever. What is it? I'm curious to know what y'all think. Leave in the comment section what you think the worst sports tradition ever is. But I want to just go over a couple of decent ones, a few decent ones, a few popular ones, and then I'll get into what I think is the absolute worst and most annoying sports tradition ever. All right. So first, let's talk about some of the ones that we all, I guess, we're most of us are probably familiar with these, but it's like in football, head coach getting soaked with Gatorade. We see that there with my favorite coach of all time, Tony Dungy. We also see top left there in hockey. If you get a hat trick, which is 3 goals in one game, everybody in the fans throw their hats on the ice. We've seen that before. That's a tradition that most people know of. Also, something as old as time when it comes to sports would be fans booing the opposing team. It's pretty natural, right? Everybody knows about that. Another one that we're all familiar with is doing the wave in the crowd. So I hate to admit it, but I have been a part of a wave or two in my lifetime. I almost hate to admit it. I know it makes my cool points go from 10 all the way down to about 5.5, but that's unfortunate. I have to admit to y'all, this is called sports truth, so I can't lie to you. The truth is, Jordan Harris has been a part of one wave or two in his lifetime, unfortunately. And he'll probably be a part of another one sometime in the future. Okay, let's talk about some of the team specific traditions that we know of. So there's team traditions where they have like their own hand gestures, like the Hurricanes throwing up to you. We've seen that before. There's other teams that have their own, like Texas Hook'em Horns. Different teams have their own traditions with hand gestures. It's also another real cool one, at least I think it's cool, is Colorado running with the Buffalo. I think that's super cool. I always have thought that was cool since I was a little kid. I always noticed that. Notre Dame, as much as I don't like Notre Dame, they do have this cool tradition of tapping the "Play Like a Champion Today" sign before they walk out to the field. And then one of the most notable traditions in the NFL would be with the Green Bay Packers doing the Lambeau Leap. I first became aware of that back when Brett Favre was playing because my dad was a big Brett Favre Packers fan. So what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, now let's talk about what is the absolute worst tradition in all of sports, not just college football, not college basketball, not just NBA, not soccer, all of it. What is the worst to me? It's storming the court. I hate it. It annoys me like crazy. And I know hate is a strong word, but I have learned and have grown to hate storming the court for specific reasons. I don't think it's a bad thing on its face. I think it has become this annoying thing because people have used it the wrong way. I think it's been utilized and people have lost the meaning of why and when you storm the court. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about at the beginning of the video when I said something happened in the sports world recently that made me want to do this video, it's when LSU beat Kentucky just recently. I don't like Kentucky. I don't care for LSU either. But, so I don't have a dog in this fight. I was just irritated when I saw LSU run onto the court celebrating. For one, I'm like, you've had all-time greats play for LSU. Pistol Pete Maravich. You had Shaquille O'Neal. Um, you've had some superstars. You know what I'm saying? You've got the guy from Australia who doesn't want to play basketball anymore. You probably can guess who that is, Ben Simmons. But, yeah, I mean, you've got some great NBA players. You got some great Hall of Famers that's played for LSU. I just went and looked up some numbers and stuff just for the history of LSU just to see, like, am I tripping? Like, should they expect more? So I went back and I'm like, what has LSU done recently? LSU was ranked in the polls as early as 2022. I saw that they were ranked, got up to number 12 in the rankings in 2002, which is not that long ago. So to be storming the court against a team that's number 18 in the nation, so LSU, which is a decent, fine enough organization, they beat the number 18 team in the country and stormed the court. I'm thinking, are you serious? It almost felt like they were embarrassing themselves to me. But let's talk about. Let me just explain something real quick, okay? I want to talk about something that I've done in the past. All right, so hopefully y'all shoot me some bail on this. But when I was younger, I think I was a sophomore in high school. My brother was playing in the state championship game, basketball, here in Kansas. So he was playing against an undefeated team. The team they were playing against were way bigger than them. Like my brother's team, the tallest player on their team was 6'3" or 6'4". The other team had like 4 or 5 players that was 6'4", 6'5". So the team they're playing against is undefeated. They're huge, and everybody in the gym feels like this other team is going to win. So it was going back and forth the entire game. The game was within 3 points from tip all the way to the end. So at the end of the game, it was probably 4 seconds left. My brother's team is up by 1 point. The other team has the ball. They run some kind of inbounds play to where this guy ends up nearly wide open under the goal. He catches it, gets ready to lay the ball in. My brother comes out of nowhere, blocks the shot. One of my brother's teammates recovers the ball. Game over. Everybody's going crazy. I run off the stands, climb over onto my brother's bench, jump off of it as high as I could, and ran onto the court. It was like pandemonium out there. It was crazy. Now, was that cool? Heck yeah, that was cool. But it was for a championship. They were highly super underdogs in this game. There was no way they were supposed to win on paper, and they pulled it off, state championship. And I was a sophomore in high school. I was young and dumb. So just shoot me some bail on that. So have I been a part of the whole storm the court thing before? Yes, I have. I have done that. So that does not change the fact that this is the worst and the dumbest tradition in sports, if you ask me. So one of the reasons why, probably the main reason why, is because it has lost its meaning. I believe that you're supposed to storm the court when you're heavily underdog, like you're not favored in the game, you're supposed to lose. That's one of the reasons why. But then when you have teams like LSU storming the court against a number 18 team in the country, I mean, you don't storm the court against number 18. I say if you upset number 1 and you're not ranked, maybe you storm the court then. But to storm the court at number 18, Kentucky, against a bunch of freshmen, that's clown behavior. I don't agree with that. So the main reason why is because I do think it's lost its meaning. So now let me go ahead and talk about the 3 reasons on why you should storm the court, and we can end it on this. All right. So 1, if your team wins the championship, go stupid. Run out there, do whatever you want to. I almost would allow you to go streaking on the court if your team wins a championship. Go for it. Do what you're going to do. The season's over. Your team has accomplished things that you probably didn't truly expect them to be able to accomplish, and it happened for you. Go ahead and celebrate. Do whatever you want to. It makes sense then. The second reason why you should storm the court is for a major upset. If you beat number 1 or number 2 in the country, but you're ranked number 6, no, do not storm the court. If you beat number 2 or number 3 in the country and you're not ranked, maybe that does give you a reason to storm the court. I can understand that. So go ahead and do that then too. But an unranked team like LSU beating number 18 Kentucky, nah, don't do it. Also, major upset meaning if you are playing for Towson University and you travel to Lawrence and you beat the Kansas Jayhawks, even if the Jayhawks are then ranked number 10, number 12, I say go ahead and storm the court 10 because there's no way that Towson should beat KU Jayhawks. Then you storm the court. That makes sense. But not if you've got a respectable, well, I'm not saying Towson's not respectable, so no shade to them. But if you've got a name brand as great as LSU you shouldn't be participating in that kind of stuff. All right. And then the last point is if you have an incredible comeback plus a crazy ending, like a buzzer beater ending, then I could understand that. And I know some of y'all going to say, well, LSU was down by 15 points in this game, and they did come all the way back, and they ended up winning at the buzzer. Theirs was different. They were down 15 points with 19 minutes left in the second half. About 3 minutes later, they were only down by like 3. So with 19 minutes left in the second half, it was a 15-point game. With 16 minutes left in the second half, it was like a 5-point game. And then it went from being a 5-point game to tied within the next couple minutes. So from the time it was like 13 minutes left in the game all the way to the end, it was like within 5 points going both ways, where LSU would go up 5 and then Kentucky would go up 5 and then LSU would go up 5. So it wasn't this crazy rise and then this crazy crescendo at the end of the game. That's not what happened. They were down, they came back real quick, and then that 15-minute mark, it was going back and forth from then on. And then LSU ended up winning towards the end of the game with that crazy buzzer beater. What I mean with this, when I say incredible comeback plus ending, is if you remember, I'm trying to think of how many points they were down at that time. Let me look it up real quick. But this was many years ago when T-Mac was playing for the Rockets, and they beat the Spurs right there at the end, and T-Mac scored a crazy amount of points right there at the end for them to win. I think they were down like, I don't know, I want to say, yeah, he scored 13 points in 35 seconds. I think they were down 11 points with 35 seconds left, and they needed all 13 of those points for them to win. So that is an incredible comeback from 35 seconds left all the way until the buzzer. He needed every one of those points, and he ended up hitting the buzzer beater. That would give reason for people to rush the court, something like that. Not what these fools at LSU did. That was clown behavior, if you ask me. Anyways, that's all that I got for you today. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think the craziest or the dumbest, whatever word you want to use, tradition is in sports. Also, let me know what you think the best tradition is in sports. It goes all the way back to simple stuff like just simply booing the opposing crowd or doing the opposing players or doing the wave in the crowd. Simple stuff like that. What's your favorite and what do you think is the best tradition? All right, that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you being here. As I always say, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.